In the hallowed halls of a world-renowned fashion college, one student stood apart from the rest. Her name was Ego, and she always sat alone, right at the front of the class. But no one truly saw her face, hidden as it was beneath a meticulously crafted ugly mask. This wasn't a fashion statement. It was a painful tribute. Ego wore it to honor her two older sisters, women of extraordinary beauty who had suffered terrible abuse at the hands of their husbands. Their beauty had become a curse, and Ego vowed hers would never be a weapon used against her. Daily life was a gauntlet of mockery and isolation. Classmates whispered cruel names as she passed, calling her hideous and freak. They left her out of conversations and social gatherings, ensuring she felt utterly alone. Yet, through it all, Ego never flinched. The mask stayed on, a silent testament to her resolve. The turning point came when the professor announced the semester's major project, a group assignment worth a staggering 50% of the final grade. The task to design and model a collection of breathtaking ball gowns. As students eagerly formed groups, a wave of sneers and laughter washed over Ego. No one wanted her. They also shunned another quiet girl, Adea, whose face was covered in acne. The class reveled in their cruelty, but Ego refused to be broken. She stood tall, her voice clear and steady, and declared, "Fine, Adea and I will be our own team." The laughter intensified, and the humiliation was too much for Adea. Heartbroken, she fled the classroom in tears. Ego immediately ran after her, calling her name. In her haste, she turned a corner and collided with a tall, strikingly handsome young man. Papers flew everywhere. "Oh, I'm so sorry," she stammered, scrambling to help him. He just smiled, a warm, kind smile that seemed to light up the hallway. "It's all right," he said, his voice gentle. "I'm Chuku, what's your name?" For the first time in a long, long time, something fluttered inside Ego's chest, a feeling she couldn't quite name. After that day, everything changed. Ego and Adaya became inseparable. They found solace and strength in each other's company, pouring their hearts and souls into their project. Their shared design studio became a sanctuary, filled with sketches, fabrics, and endless cups of tea. They were determined to create the most exquisite gowns the college had ever seen, to silence their bullies with sheer talent. One afternoon at lunch, Adea arrived with a familiar face in tow. It was Chuku Ego. "I'd like you to meet my older brother," she said, beaming. Ego's heart skipped a beat. From then on, the three of them were a unit. They shared meals, laughter, and stories. Ego learned that Chuku was a final-year medical student, as kind and compassionate as his smile suggested. She found herself falling deeply in love with his gentle soul, with the way he listened intently and treated her with unwavering respect. But a knot of fear tightened in her stomach. He only knew the ugly version of her. He liked her with the mask on. What would happen if he saw the face underneath? Alone in her room each night, the mask felt heavier than ever. She battled the urge to tear it off, to finally be free. But she was terrified. Terrified that her real beauty would change everything, that it would bring the same pain it brought her sisters. So she kept it on, making a silent pact with herself. If she was to be loved, it would be for her heart and her mind alone. Finally, presentation day arrived. The air in the grand hall was thick with anticipation and competitive tension. When their names were called, Ego and Adaya walked onto the stage, not as outcasts, but as queens. They wore their own magnificent creations, gowns that shimmered and flowed like liquid starlight. A collective gasp swept through the audience, followed by a stunned silence. Then, the entire hall erupted in thunderous applause. They had done it. They received the highest marks in the class and won the coveted top award, silencing every single person who had ever mocked them. The end of the semester brought another surprise. A gleaming Rolls-Royce pulled up to the college gates. Classmates watched in disbelief as Adia stepped inside, revealing her true identity. She was a princess. Ego was welcomed into a breathtaking palace for the royal wedding of Adia's older sister. It was a world of unbelievable splendor, a fairy tale come to life. That night, beneath a sky blanketed with stars, Chuku found her in the palace gardens. He took her hands, his eyes searching hers. "Ego," he began, his voice filled with emotion, "I have loved you since the day you crashed into me in the hallway. Your kindness, your strength, your brilliant mind. You make my world complete." Tears of joy streamed down Ego's cheeks, mingling with the relief that washed over her. This was the moment. He loved her for who she was, not what she looked like. With trembling hands, before the entire royal family who had gathered nearby, Ego slowly, finally, removed her mask. A beauty so radiant and pure was revealed that the queen herself gasped, pulling Ego into a warm embrace and calling her the future princess. Chuku was speechless at first, simply gazing at her. Then he pulled her close and whispered, "I always saw your true beauty, the one inside. But this, I love you even more. Now, if that's even possible." When the new semester began, Ego stood on the auditorium stage to accept the Best Student in Fashion Design award. This time, she removed her mask once and for all, letting her true self shine. A proud shout echoed from the crowd. "That's my wife." It was Chuku, beaming with pride. Their extravagant royal wedding became the talk of the kingdom, a celebration of a love that saw beyond the surface. But Ego's story didn't end there. She launched a celebrated design empire, creating fashion that empowered women. She also reported her sister's abusive husbands to the authorities, using her new influence to ensure they were brought to justice and her sisters were finally safe. Ego and Prince Chuku lived happily ever after, their lives a testament to the fact that true beauty lies not in a perfect face but in compassion, courage, and an unbreakable spirit. And so, the girl who once hid behind a mask taught an entire kingdom that a kind heart is and always will be the most dazzling crown of all. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.